Hello, everyone. Tonight, we are floating down a river that doesn't exist on any map, through trees that breathe and dreams that whisper like vines curling in your hair. The feathered boat of the Amazon Dreamer isn't really a story. It's more like a drifting thought, stretched out into twilight. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I do here. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is by you. I always love seeing how far these nighttime rides reach. Now turn off the lights, maybe turn on the fan for some soft background music, and let's enjoy our evening ride together. The air is thick, not heavy, just full of everything. Spice and moss and the lazy flick of wings somewhere above. You're not sure how you got here, standing barefoot on the root of a tree that loops out over a dark river. The forest hums in stereo, 1,000 tiny instruments playing at once. It's not scary, just alive, like it's been waiting. You notice the boat after you blink twice. It's not made of wood. It's not even tied to anything, just sitting there on the water, as if it knew you were coming. Long, low, and shaped like a canoe, but every surface is made of feathers. Not just one kind, either. Blue macaw along the rim, something soft and downy at the base, a crest of red and orange curling at the front like flame. No oars, no paddle, just feathers and stillness, and a subtle shimmer that only shows up when the moon shifts behind a cloud. You step in. The feathers don't crunch, they don't bend or shed. They just seem to hold your weight, like they've done it before. Maybe for you. Maybe for someone who dreamed you into being. The boat moves without you asking. No wind, no engine, just a gentle tug, like the river's hand closing softly around the hull and saying, "This way." The trees lean back as you pass, making space. You can almost feel them nod. You try to remember what you were doing before this, where you were headed, what time it was, but it slides away like silt through fingers. Doesn't matter. The river isn't in a hurry. Neither are you. To your left, you catch sight of something strange, a cluster of orchids floating just above the surface, not attached to anything. Their petals pulse slightly, like gills. On your right, a capybara lounges on a sun-warmed stone, blinking slowly, unbothered by the shimmer trailing behind your boat. The sky shifts. Not darker, not lighter, but just different. A velvety kind of blue you've never seen before. The stars, when they show up, do so one at a time, as if being individually invited. Some blink, some glide. The whole sky feels fluid, like the river just above your head. A heron lifts from a nearby branch and glides silently past. For a second, you could swear the shape of its wings matches the curve of your boat. Coincidence, or something else. You lie back, letting your fingers trail in the water. It's warm and slow, and doesn't ripple the way normal water does. It holds its shape longer. Like memory. You catch your reflection and almost don't recognize yourself. Not because your face has changed, but because you're softer now. Lit from the inside by whatever is making this journey happen. The boat tilts slightly. Not in danger, just shifting. Like it's adjusting course to avoid something you don't even see. Maybe a root. Maybe a dream too sharp to bump into. Overhead, a flock of birds crosses silently, wings glowing faint blue like paper lanterns. You could count them, but that feels like the wrong thing to do. Some things are better left unmeasured. You start to feel like you've been here before. Not this exact stretch of river, but the feeling, the hush, the float, the slow rhythm of movement that asks nothing of you but presence. Maybe a childhood fever dream. Maybe a forgotten story someone once told you when they thought you were asleep. You pass under a branch carved with spirals, not the kind made by knives or people, older, like the tree did it to itself out of boredom or longing. The boat slows, not stopping, just breathing. You exhale for the first time in what feels like hours, or minutes, or days. Who knows? The forest doesn't keep that kind of time. Everything here moves like it's being sung to sleep. And now you're humming too. No melody, no words, just a sound that matches the sway of the boat, the hush of leaves, and the soft call of something far off that might be a frog or might be the forest clearing its throat. The feathers along the rim of the boat ruffle in a breeze that never touches your skin. It's like the boat is shivering, but not from fear. Anticipation. Something's coming, but not yet. Right now, it's just you and the river and the faint glow of something waiting just around the bend. And you feel yourself, finally, start to drift. The bend comes slowly, like a cat stretching. The boat glides toward it without urgency, coasting on some secret rhythm beneath the water that you can't hear but definitely feel. It's pulling you forward, not dragging, just coaxing. The trees pull back even more now, giving way to something stranger, not a clearing exactly, more like a breath in the forest, a pause. You emerge into a lagoon so still it could be a painting. Every leaf is mirrored in the black water, and for a moment you feel upside down, or maybe inside out. The surface is so smooth you hesitate to breathe, worried your lungs might ripple it. But the boat knows what it's doing. It drifts in like it's been here 100 times. Maybe it has. In the center of the lagoon is an island the size of a dinner plate. No joke, just big enough for one plant, an enormous bloom with petals that look like woven straw and smell like mangoes left too long in the sun. And sitting right there, balanced perfectly between petals, is a single stone mask. You don't get out of the boat, you just pass by slowly, close enough to make out the mask's expression. Blank, but not empty, more like it's thinking in a language you've never heard. Then the lagoon lets you go, and you're back in the river's arms again. The stars above are thick now, not scattered, but clustered, like they've come down closer just for you. One of them falls, then another, but they don't vanish like usual. Instead, they seem to land in the trees and nest there, glowing lazily like fireflies on vacation. You lean back again, letting your hands drape off the sides of the boat. The water kisses your fingers and trails away like it's taking tiny pieces of your worry with it. You wonder if the people here dream the way you do, if they drift in feathered boats at night, skimming the edge of memory, piecing together songs from the shape of leaves and the rhythm of falling fruit. The air shifts again, this time cooler, crisper, and sweet, like citrus and wren. The forest sounds change too. No more chittering monkeys or rustling birds. Now it's frogs, deep, echoing frogs that sound like drums made of tree trunks. And just when you think you might doze off completely, you see it. A village. Tiny lights tucked into the trees, some high, some low, all glowing amber like little sleeping suns. You can't see the people yet, but you feel them. A quiet presence, like a group that knows you're coming but doesn't need to announce it. The boat slows again, not stopping, just gliding at parade pace. You catch glimpses, bare feet hanging from a high platform, a flicker of firelight on skin, the soft swish of a hammock swinging. And then a sound. Not a voice, not a word, but a whistle. A long, low note that vibrates in your chest. You don't know how, but you understand it. Welcome. No one appears. They don't need to. This village doesn't trade in handshakes or grand entrances. It speaks in gesture, in breath, in patience. You pass under a wooden arch, woven with vines and feathers, some of them just like the ones on your boat. You wonder if these people made it, or if the boat is older than even they are. Just beyond the village, the river splits. One side is narrow and dark, choked with roots. The other is wide and open, glowing faintly with something phosphorescent. The boat doesn't hesitate. It picks the glowing path. The trees change here. Their trunks are pale, almost white. Their bark peels in curls, revealing streaks of blue and lavender underneath. Their leaves don't rustle. They shimmer like glass wind chimes catching a breeze from somewhere far away. And then the dreams start. Not yours, not fully. Images begin to float across the water, just out of reach. Memories, maybe, but not always your own. A child chasing a jaguar's shadow through banana leaves. A woman singing to a river stone. A man carving stars into a paddle. They come and go like bubbles, never interrupting the flow, just decorating it. And somehow it makes you feel safe, like the river has seen everything and still wants you here. You're not sure how long you drift. Could be minutes, could be a whole season. But then a gentle sound returns, the feathered rustle. The boat begins to hum again, barely audible, like it's talking to itself. You close your eyes, just for a moment, and when you open them again, the trees are gone. You're in open water now. A broad basin of river so wide it might as well be a lake. And in the center, an island shaped like an eye, with a single tree growing from its center. The tree isn't normal. Of course it's not. Its bark shines like obsidian, and its leaves glow gold at the edges like they've been dipped in firelight. Hanging from its limbs are hundreds, maybe thousands of little boats, feathered ones, just like yours. They sway in the breeze like ornaments, whispering secrets to each other in the rustle of plumage. The boat circles the island, not docking, not climbing, just acknowledging. A nod between kin, a reunion in silence. And you? You lean forward. Because for the first time tonight, you feel it. A direction. A gentle call from somewhere just past this island. The boat turns, and onward you go. The current grows bolder now. Not fast, just confident. Like a cat who knows exactly where it's going and assumes you'll follow. And of course you do, because where else would you be? The boat dips into narrower water. The trees crowd in again, but this time they're different. Taller, quieter, like cathedral pillars grown from roots and rainfall. Their trunks gleam slick with mist, and orchids dangle like chandeliers. The air smells like crushed lime and sleeping moss. A breeze passes, and the feathers on your boat lift gently, as if they too are listening. This is the corridor of remembering. No one told you that, but somehow you know it. The forest around you feels steeped in memory, soaked into the bark, folded into the fog. You hear sounds that aren't there. A child laughing, an old woman humming to a kettle, the soft patter of rain that never arrives. And just when you think it's all your imagination, you see them. Not ghosts. Not quite. More like impressions. Shapes pressed into the mist. People walking just ahead of you. Barefoot. Unhurried. Some carry baskets. One pulls a goat on a reed leash. Another combs long hair with a carved fishbone. You blink, and they're gone, but their footprints stay. In the river, for a second, you see them ripple just below the surface, bare feet walking across water as if the past were stitched into it. You don't panic. You don't even question it. This river is old, older than the forest, older than the mountains beyond. It remembers everything, and sometimes it shares what it's learned. You pass beneath a natural arch made of hanging vines and old bones woven together. Skulls of birds, ribs of fish, all tied with red thread that hasn't faded. Somehow, it smells like cinnamon and charcoal. The moment you cross under it, the air lightens. A little sun breaks through. It dapples the deck of your boat in shifting gold, and you reach out to touch it just to make sure it's real. It is. Warm and soft like the belly of a resting cat. And then, up ahead, a shape. A dock. Well, not really a dock, more like a floating platform of lily pads, lashed together and lit from below with blue fireflies. It pulses gently, waiting for you. The sound draws you in like a thread being pulled gently through water. It's not urgent, just certain. The kind of sound that knows it has time. And you do too now. The boat glides without resistance, feather light on the surface of the river. The current has gone still, which is strange, because you're still moving. Faster now. The water beneath you looks like ink. Not dark in a scary way, more like reflective. Infinite. You can see the stars above and the stars below, and for a moment, it's impossible to tell which side you're on. And then the mist parts. You're not in the jungle anymore. The river opens into a basin, wide and round, rimmed with floating lanterns, each one shaped like a different bird. Swans, herons, owls, each glowing with a steady orange flame. They don't flicker, they breathe. And you are not alone. Boats, dozens of them, all different sizes and shapes, some shaped like turtles, some woven like baskets. One looks like it's made entirely of flower petals. Another hums softly, as if it's purring. The people in them, if you can call them people, are draped in silks, cloaks, feathers, bone jewelry, beads made from seeds the size of your thumb. No one speaks, but everyone watches. They're not watching you exactly. They're watching the space around you, as if something is about to happen there. And then, without warning, your boat slows and stops in the center of the basin. Everything goes still. No wind, no ripples. Even the lanterns pause in their breathing. A single drop falls from above and strikes the water beside you. The sound it makes echoes far too loud for such a small splash, like a bell tolling in reverse. Then something rises. A platform, woven from vines, reeds, and feathers, emerges from beneath the surface, and your boat eases you onto it without even the whisper of a bump. You step off, barefoot again. The platform feels warm. The air thickens. From the edge of the basin, a figure appears. She's tall, not in the intimidating way, in the old as the river way. Her skin is a riverbank at sunset, deep brown, warm, and lined with the soft cracks of time. Her dress flows like water, but it's feathered, covered in iridescent greens, sunset oranges, thundercloud blues. And her eyes, well, they're birds.
Just birds, not metaphorically. You look into them and you see flight, horizon, the curve of the wind. She lifts her hands, and every lantern lifts with her. They hover above like stars come home. She speaks, not out loud, but in the language of dreams. You don't hear words, you feel them. You've wandered well, dreamer. The feathered boat doesn't carry the lost, only the willing, only those with questions, not answers.
You want to respond, but your mouth isn't part of this anymore. You respond by standing still, by breathing, by being here. She circles you slowly. You can feel her examining not your body, but your memory. Every choice that brought you to this dream. Every moment you forgot to wonder. Every time you looked up at a bird and forgot to ask where it was going. She stops in front of you and opens her hands. In one, a single black feather, too dark to be night. It absorbs light, drinks it. In the other, a pale seed, still damp with soil, as if freshly pulled from the ground. She doesn't explain. She doesn't have to. You know. You must choose. Do you want the feather, the freedom to leave, to drift, to forget, to continue floating through this life of soft wonder? Or do you want the seed, the burden of remembering, planting, growing something new when you wake? You take your time. You look at both. You breathe. And you choose. The moment your fingers close around one, the other vanishes in a shimmer of gold dust. The woman smiles, not kindly, not knowingly, just truly, like someone who's seen the same thing happen 10,000 times and still finds it beautiful. The lights begin to dim. The boats start to drift back toward the jungle. The platform sinks slowly, feather by feather, back into the waiting river. You return to your boat. It knows the way now. It doesn't need stars or music or fireflies. It just moves. You lie back. The sky turns again, this time a deep shade of lavender, the kind of color that only appears in dreams or just before storms. You feel the weight or lightness of your choice in your hand. You don't open it. You don't need to. Because the journey isn't over. Not yet. One more bend, one more breath of mist, one more vision waiting up ahead. And your boat, the one made of feathers and memory, glides toward it like it's always known, like it's always been part of you. There's no sound now, only suggestion. A hush so complete it almost feels warm, like a quilt pulled over your ears. The boat drifts deeper, though you're not sure into what. The river loses its banks, spreading wide into a glassy mirror that reflects nothing, not the sky, not you. Just light. As if you've slipped between places, between waking and sleeping, between wondering and remembering. And then something begins to pulse beneath you, faint, slow, rhythmic, like a heartbeat made of thunder far away. It rises through the boat, not threatening, comforting in the way a lullaby is. And you realize the feathers have changed color. They shimmer now, coated in a fine dust of blue and gold, like sunrise meeting the ocean. You sit up slowly, your limbs light. The boat doesn't rock. Ahead, a shimmer. You squint, but it doesn't help. The shimmer isn't something you can focus on. It's something you feel tugging at the edge of your thoughts. A memory you haven't had yet. And then, you're there. Not somewhere, just there. There is no river now, no jungle, no mist. Just a wide open sky above and an endless stretch of cloud below. The boat floats between both, suspended like a note at the end of a song. You stand. No dizziness, no fear. The air smells like rain on warm stones. It smells like places you've never been but always knew you'd visit one day. And there, ahead, is a figure. Not like the woman in feathers. This one is smaller. A child, maybe. Or just small in presence. They sit cross-legged on the deck of another boat, but this one's not made of feathers. It's carved from bark and hollow laughter. You can tell by the way it hums, soft and familiar, like a melody you used to know. They look up, and they smile. You recognize them. Not as a person you've met, but as the part of you that dreams when you're not paying attention. They tilt their head, as if listening to something very far away. Then they gesture for you to sit. You do. And together, in silence, you drift. Nothing moves. Everything is moving. You feel it then, not in your ears or eyes, but in your bones. A deep settling, like your whole body is exhaling. All at once. The child, or whatever they are, reaches into the pocket of their robe and pulls out a single white feather. They balance it on their fingertip and blow gently. It doesn't fall. It floats upward, spinning slowly. And from that motion, everything begins to swirl again. Clouds return, mist seeps in. The soft hush becomes birdsong, muted and far off, like from across the other side of a dream. The child leans in and whispers, not with words, but a feeling. You were never lost, only waiting. Your eyes grow heavier, not because you're tired, but because you're full. You lean back, your head against the side of your boat. The stars begin to blink back into the sky, one by one. But this time, they're not reflections or lanterns. They're yours. Each one a moment you thought was forgotten. A kindness, a stillness, a choice made with care. They shine above you like constellations you never learned the names of, but always trusted were there. And as your boat drifts slowly downward again, toward the edges of morning, or memory, or both, you feel the final traces of the river folding in behind you like a well-loved page. You're not sure when you'll return here. You don't have to be, because now you know. The river remembers. The dream remembers. And so do you. You exhale, long, quiet, almost a smile. Almost. The feathers rustle around you like soft applause. The mist kisses your cheeks goodbye. And the boat, gentle and sure, carries you softly toward waking.